Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Meme and Die podcast. I am your host, Musio, and I am joined, of course, by my dazzling fellow co-hosts, Cord_Gamer.
Hello.
And Noc.V.
How's it going?
If you don't know what our deal is, we are a gaming news podcast, and we also like to start off our podcast with just some personal questions about, like, you know, our lives and our opinions on things so that you guys can sort of get to know us a little better. Speaking of which, Noc, why don't you tell me about your week? How have you been?
Pretty good. What did I do? I went to my first Pride festival.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That was on Saturday.
Shout out Pride Month.
That was interesting. It's kind of funny because there's like a lot of like corporate stalls there where they're just handing out like Pride related swag, like branded shit. And nice. The company I work for was there. I couldn't believe that shit because it's like I'm not going to dox myself, but like if you had never heard of the company before, like it's not a company you would have ever heard before, and like it's just weird for them to be there because they're not really a company who benefits from like public image that much. So yeah, that was that. Then it was Father's Day yesterday, so that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I know what you're laughing about, you asshole.
Do we talk about it?
yeah, probably.
Okay, so what was this? I had just gotten home from a vacation that I will tell you about in a second.
Probably about like 5 o'clock.
It was about 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I get a phone call. Well, not really a phone call. It was a Discord call, but it went to my phone. And it was Noc. And so I pick it up and I'm like, "Hi, Noc. How's it going, buddy?" And there's noises. There's people talking, but it's not, they're not talking to me. And I'm like, "Hey, Noc," like blah, blah, blah. And that goes on for like a minute. And then I realize, oh my God, I have been butt dialed. Noc butt dialed me.
That's true.
And I stayed in that call for 17 minutes, screaming my head off, trying to make you realize that there was a noise coming from your pocket. And eventually your wife noticed. And she was like, what is that noise?
It wasn't that.
And I was like, it's me.
We just got in the car because we were about to leave. We were at a park. And we just got in the car. And because all of a sudden, after the car doors closed, there was no outdoor noise. All of a sudden, we could hear somebody talking from my pocket. And
oh my gosh.
Oh God, that was funny. I think
it was nice. I felt like I was part of the family for a little bit. Yeah. I got to listen in on you, I guess, like going through a park or something.
That's right. We were pretty much at that point, we were just like following Ollie around the playground. And we told him that it was time to leave, and he didn't like that much.
No, he did not.
Because you mentioned that he was crying. It's like, yeah, he was not happy about having to leave because he was having a good time.
No. That's really funny.
Man, that's interesting. That's not creepy at all.
That was like creepy.
No, I was just like, what on earth is happening? And I like texted his phone because I have his phone number and everything. Like, I tried to call your phone. I texted your phone.
I wouldn't see it. It was in my pocket.
Like, what on earth is happening?
Bro, you should have just, you could have just hung up,
I think I remember what happened.
That's no fun. It's no good.
Yeah. It's like me and Rachel were worried that like we said something embarrassing that you would have heard.
No.
You can tell me later, Muzi. You don't have to embarrass Noc here on the national-wide famous popular public podcast.
Even if they did say something weird, I wouldn't have cared.
Probably not. Like out of all the people, you and Cord would probably be the ones I wouldn't care that much about. Yeah, it was. I think I know what happened too, because it was like I remember looking at my phone and you had texted me a link to, like you just sent me something on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure I didn't lock my phone after I looked at that notification. So I just put my phone in my pocket, and that's what happened.
And you butt dialed me. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. See,
It's so funny that it happened over Discord is the funniest.
right,
part.
right, yeah.
Like, how do you manage to do that?
So yeah, we went to a park for Father's Day. We had a little barbecue, and there was some interesting. There could have been a very very bad situation happen. So I guess like I wouldn't say new to barbecuing, but it was like we kind of like planned it on a whim, and I was like really, really, I guess careless is probably the easiest way to say it, because I did something incredibly stupid.
Oh,
Okay.
when we
did you
got
do?
there, I looked at the barbecue things that they have where you can put charcoal in and you can grill yourself up some fucking burgers and hot dogs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody had used it previously and there's all ash in the thing, so I'm like, oh shit, I gotta clean this thing out. So I get some paper towel and I get the there's like a full, I want to say 80% full garbage bin, but it was like a barrel, like a metal barrel. So like pull the thing over and like tip it over in front of the grill, and I'm starting to sweep the ashy remains into this bin. And everything's good. I put the bin back and I start up the charcoal chimney and getting a bunch of charcoal going.
He grilled.
And then I notice the bin is smoking.
oh,
Wait, what? Oh no.
So
Ooh.
obviously there had been somebody at that grill very recently before me, and when I was sweeping the ashes into the bin, some of the charcoal wasn't fully finished yet. And I'm like, shit, this is gonna get bad really quickly. so I'm like, I walk over to Rachel and I'm like, I fucked up.
Because there's nothing you can do in that situation.
I mean,
you like pour water in the trash, maybe. I don't know.
So I am thinking that this thing is about to be, it's about to catch fire, and it's going to be embarrassing, and it's going to be, I don't know, maybe I have to call the fire department over. I don't know. And Rich was like, I got that bottle of water in the car. You can try and use that. And I'm thinking, the last time we barbecued, we used a whole ass gallon of water to try and put out coals, and it didn't work. And this thing was like, this bottle was a quart. It was a quarter of a gallon. So, and it was like, 20% drink, I guess. And I'm thinking, there's no way in hell this is going to work. So, I walk over to the car and I pull it back and I'm trying to pour it over the whatever's smoking in this bin. And I get to a point where I start hearing some, when you pour water on something hot, it starts sizzling. And I hear this one specific point that's like sizzling. So I'm like, okay, that's the spot. I'll keep pouring the rest of the water over there. And I guess that did it, because it was still smoking a little bit after I'd done that, but it was smoking a hell of a lot less. And I think whatever was left kind of just fizzled out, because the rest of the day was good. Like it didn't, I mean, at least if it did come back on fire, we weren't there to see it.
not your problem.
I see. I thought that you were going to grab the water, drink it, and then just pee into the trash can.
That is the most efficient use of water right there.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you're min-maxing life.
Can't put out a fire if you're dehydrated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really worried that it wasn't going to be enough. So I'm like, it was, I guess, like kind of a riverside park, and I was like thinking I could try and like fill it up from the river, and like I almost slid and fell in trying to do that. So I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, it was good for the rest of the day. We grilled up some hot dogs, and that was fantastic.
Nice. I had a very refreshing week. I went on vacation. I went to Kiowa, South Carolina, if you know where that is. It's kind of toward the Barrier Islands, like Edisto area, if you know where that is.
Hello?
Basically, it's just
Did I lose
it's like an
connection?
island off the coast. Hello.
Whoa.
Gord, did you lose connection?
We lost
Did I
you for a bit.
Was that me, or did we lose me or him?
I think we might have lost Muzio for a bit.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So
Can you still hear
you
me?
said,
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You said key, and then like everything was just like,
Oh. I said Kiowa, like Kiawah. Yeah, that's the island I went to. And there's a little resort on this island, and I stayed at the little resort. And
very nice.
I had a very fun time. It was during that big heat wave, so it was very hot, but it was good. The only thing that was bad about that trip was there was like some workers who came in at like 8:15 in the morning the first night that we got there, and they were doing construction like underneath our little, I guess, villa, and they were so loud, and they were there until like 3 p.m. and they were so annoying. It was awful. Yeah. So we didn't get a lot of sleep, but meh. Notable things that happened on this trip. Number one, the beach. Oh my God, the beach was awesome.
Nice.
It was pure bliss. We had like chairs with umbrellas. So we had like the shade plus the breeze made it almost like cold, but like it was a good like napping temperature. It was perfect.
Damn.
Oh yeah. The beach was of course kind of hot, but like it was like 100 something degrees. Who cares? The water was really nice. It was like not cold, not too like not boiling hot, but not too cold. It was good. The waves were okay. I'm a little bit of a boogie boarder. Waves were all right. They weren't too crazy. I wish they were crazier, but meh. And while I was on the beach, we had watermelon, which was delicious. And I feel like I have never felt more relaxed at any single point in time in my life, other than when I was snacking on this watermelon at the beach. And this watermelon is important because another notable thing was when we got back from the beach, same watermelon, we saw some wild deer. And me being me, I'm like, I want to go say hi to these deer. I want to go befriend these deer. And my mom is like, no, you can't walk up to the deer and just like, I don't know, pet them or like whatever. And I was like, no, I got this. So I grabbed the watermelon and I walk up to the deer very, very slowly, very carefully, respectfully. And I offer it to them and they partake.
Really?
And I was like, we are friends now. Yes.
That's
they
cool.
ate the watermelon. I was
so
not
cool.
expecting the deer to eat like watermelon. It was like just some white-tailed deer. But I guess they're kind of used to people because I don't know.
Maybe.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I fed the deer the watermelon. And then I put the watermelon on the ground so that the deer could keep on eating it. And then I pet the deer.
Oh my God.
Like just straight up, I pet the deer.
Nice.
And I was like, this is awesome.
That's freaking
I
cool.
have just fed a deer watermelon and now I'm petting it. I never in my life did I ever think that I would do that string of actions, but I did it and it was awesome. I was very happy.
Nice.
Yeah. I also saw armadillos for the first time in my life in person. Yeah. I saw 3 of them and they did not let me pet them.
I'm sure they didn't.
I tried.
Armadillos don't strike me as a friendly kind of animal.
I mean, they're not too aggressive, but they're not like, I don't know. They're not the most social creatures. So yeah, that was my fun vacation. It was very, very relaxing and refreshing. I came back home and I was like, man, I feel like $1 billion. I went into work today. I was like feeling good, like all the good stuff, all
Very
the good
nice.
stuff. Mm-hmm. Cord, how was your week?
My week? I worked, I slept, I ate, and I celebrated Father's Day by going to a restaurant and having my dad pay for my lunch. Cheers.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh. You know, I did something pretty similar. We went to just a pretty well-known barbecue spot. Whenever we had gotten back from vacation, we had some barbecue, and There was a couple things that my dad wanted for Father's Day, and I got him some hot sauce that was like kind of hard to find, but I found it, and I was like, I'm a good son. I got some hot sauce. But and he wanted this. My sister got what in the world? Who is? Good gracious! I'm sorry, my mom. He got a traffic cone.
A traffic cone?
Like, yes, a traffic cone.
Why? That's something he wanted?
He planned. Yeah, this is something he wanted. It was a big old, just like a traffic cone. And I don't know.
That's it?
It's just something that he wanted. Yeah, he got a singular traffic cone, and he was very happy about it. And I was like, okay, you are awesome. All right.
That sounds like that's more backstory, but
I think it was so that I don't even know. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just he got a traffic cone. He was like, I want a traffic cone. And so we got him a traffic cone.
So where do you buy traffic cones from? You buy that shit from Lowe's?
Tractor Supply.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Tractor Supply. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep. Yeah. And that's how my Father's Day went. All right. Let's get into the news stuff because there is a lot of stuff. Big thing first is the Final Fantasy VII remake. Square Enix has finally given us an update on where they're at with the Final Fantasy VII remake. And they're announcing that it will be a trilogy of games instead of just like, oh, you get the main game and then you get the DLCs that are all 3 parts or whatever. So it's a little weird. It's kind of I don't know how I feel about it because it is like you have to pay for separate games, but on the other hand, it's like kind of makes sense because like I don't know, whatever. But the next installment will be called Final Fantasy VII Remake Rebirth, and that'll launch around winter of this year, hopefully on PS5. Only on PS5.
Has there been any releases of the Final Fantasy VII remake stuff?
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I don't know. For some reason, I thought
the first part.
So the first part has been released.
Yeah, that was the main game that released like in 2019.
I was going to say, like, I thought this had already come out.
Nope, it was only part 1 of 35.
Yeah, 35. Okay, no, it was. So the original game is broken down into 3 discs. So this was basically like disc 1 because it was on the PlayStation 1.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So now I guess they're just selling them as separate games, or at least that's what I read or gleaned. But another huge thing that I did not see coming was that they are remaking Crisis Core. If you don't know what Crisis Core is, it was this game for the PSP, and it's basically like the prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It's also where that one cutscene where Zack says, "Me Gungaga." That was a meme. And I'm hyped about that because we are going to get a remade HD 4K Ultra HD Me Gungaga from Zack, whatever his name is. I
Watch
forgot.
them not include the meme.
No, they will. No, they for sure will.
Watch them not though.
No,
That would be
they
funny.
will. But that's releasing about the same time, coming this winter, and I do believe it will be releasing on more platforms than just PS5. I believe it's at Xbox and PC and all that, which is good. I don't know about Nintendo Switch, but I think that's everything, which is a lot, and that's good because they, like Cord said, the first part of this came out in 2019. It has been 3 years, and they haven't made part 2 of the remake. So I'm glad to see that they're finally giving us some sort of results. They're kicking their butts into gear. It was kind of unexpected that they remade Crisis Core, but it is a welcome addition because there's like a lot of like plot and stuff that is in Crisis Core that is not in the main games, that it's important and blah, 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 blah. I'm a huge nerd. So yeah, I'm hyped.
What do you guys think about so many game companies like remaking classic games? Like it seems like every classic game that is in existence is getting a remake.
I think that it is good overall because like the remakes are good because it allows I oh my gosh, hold on. I'm having like 30,000 thoughts go through my head at once. I need to calm down. So back whenever these people first made these games, hardware limitations were absolutely a thing. Like I said, Final Fantasy VII was split into 3 different discs. I guess they're technically still doing it now, but
yeah, I mean, guess so.
But the games are beautiful now, and they're way different than they used to be. And I feel like hardware limitations no longer being a like big limiting factor. It's good to see game developers like revisit old projects and really bring them to life in new ways. I think it's reinvigorating. I think it's good for the IPs. I think it's good for money. And I also like that it gives a new generation that has not played the game a reason to play this game and a newer format to play it on, because a lot of the times compatibility can be an issue or just outdated software or just all that stuff.
I think a lot of the new generation of gamers kind of look at these old games and think they look like trash. I'm not going to play that. And to an extent, I kind of understand, like looking at like the old Doom versus this new Doom, like I can kind of understand, like back in the day, it was cutting edge and it was amazing because it's all you had. But now it's like, why would you play those old games if they're going to get remade? Just essentially better.
I mean, there's a big difference between a remake, a remaster, and a reimagining.
Sure.
True. Yeah.
Like,
I would not get, like, the Dooms are a remake.
Yeah, Doom is probably not the best. Doom is not the best example because of how much of the core mechanics and gameplay has actually changed.
I guess it's more of a reimagining than really a remake.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, because they have nothing
That's the same way with that. I feel the same way about Final Fantasy VII Remake. It doesn't feel like a remake. It's definitely a reimagining.
Right.
Has there been any games that have been essentially the same gameplay wise, but just with like really, really updated graphics?
Halo CE and Halo 2 got their anniversary editions, which are basically remakes.
That's true. Because like
I was about to say Halo Master Chief Collection, and there's also older Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy, like I think 1 through I guess 6. They keep getting updated, and they either do HD pixel remasters, which is literally just they improve the graphics and then it's the same game, or they will do sort of reimaginings, but it's also the same game, which is literally just they'll put it into 3D instead of 2D. Like they have 3D models, but it's still the same like top-down kind of stuff. That's what they did with Final Fantasy 3. They released it on like PSP and DS with like 3D models and stuff, but it was the same game.
I guess the Pokemon games are kind of similar as well. Like say with like, what was it? Like Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yeah. Fire Red, Leaf Green.
And the
I guess Omega Ruby and Sapphire didn't.
Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, in a way.
Yeah. I don't know. Those aren't really remakes. Those are, I would call those remasters.
Sure.
Because they did change stuff.
They really need to do Chrono Trigger.
Dude, a Chrono Trigger remaster would be crazy. Actually, no, just remake with updated graphics would honestly be fine. They did it with what was it? Trials of Mana or whatever.
So didn't they do Chrono Cross as well? I feel like there was something about that recently.
I do believe. Man, I do not remember Chrono Cross remake. I do know they remastered that one. Yeah, they remastered that one, which is basically like upscaling it and making it not look like doo-doo fart, which was good. But yeah, I'm down for companies doing this as long as they do it in like an insightful way. Like, a really good example. I think we talked about this last week, but a really good example is the Resident Evil games. Those games being remade are fantastic. Capcom is doing just amazing with those games.
Well, I mean, they did really amazing with 2. 3 was kind of mixed. Really? Yes.
Interesting. Huh. All right. Well, I mean, I haven't played those games. I've only visually seen them, so Can't offer too much there, but nevertheless, Cord,
Yes. My name.
talk about Activision
Yes.
and just the chaos that went down.
Activision. So, over the past year, I guess, Activision has kind of been in the shitstorm of being known for treating its employees awfully and improperly in the workplace. However, analysis from the US government and internal analysis from Activision Blizzard showed that while some of the more publicized reports of terrible treatment of employees are true, it is not a sign of a greater systematic issue at Activision Blizzard. In fact, they've, over the years, outside of some of those bigger incidences, have actually improved in a lot of the areas of staff training, gender inclusivity, all that type of stuff.
Press X
That's
to
good.
doubt.
I want to remain hopeful. I want to give myself the ignorance bliss that they are in fact working toward bettering themselves.
I don't know.
I feel like that makes more sense in the sense of historically Blizzard has been known for its inclusivity in the workplace. And so it doesn't it could be wrong. And I was kind of press X to doubt until I saw that there was more of a third party federal investigation analysis that also coincided with the fact that there's not a systematic issue.
I think the word systematic can kind of be a little bit misleading because I don't, in terms of, what's the word? In terms of these issues being systematic, it would imply that they have to be part of the system. So there would be things like sexism, racism, whatever, inbuilt into the system of Activision. I think a lot of these issues are based off of individual people being this way. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's not, of course, it's not going to be systematic because no company would ever, make these
condone these actions.
Yeah, exactly. From a systemic point of view, in terms of standard operating procedures, all this shit in companies this big is always very bureaucratic and they have guides and all this crap. They're not going to bake those kind of things into their systems. It's always going to be an individual thing. It's always going to be specific individuals working there who are creating these issues. So yeah, I don't think it would have to be really bad for a company to actually be investigated and found that these are systemic issues.
Right.
So that's why I'm kind of doubtful. I just think it may not be systematic or systemic. It may be, I guess, par for the course in terms of gamers and gaming companies. That because let's not beat around the bush. Gamers have a reputation of being a specific type of toxic. So it makes sense for a game company to kind of have their employees bring that with them to the workplace.
I feel like there's that is, I don't agree. I do not agree because I feel like there should be a separation of play versus work.
There should be.
I feel like whenever you're going to work, there should be kind of a mutual respect for your peers and hey, we're not going to rag on each other for every little thing or be super mean and loud and offensive. And yet these employees have. But from the looks of things, they're getting better. And that's good.
I think they're getting better because there's so much of a public eye on them.
I believe so too, which is good. It's good that that the public, I guess, is chastising this company and they're improving their policies and hopefully it'll be better for, I don't know, the greater good.
Hopefully.
Another thing is, I don't know if y'all saw, this is off topic, sort of off topic. But did you guys see the Blizzard diversity, inclusivity.
Oh my God.
The little flow chart that they made.
That's old news.
Yeah,
that's old news.
That is old news. But
Hilarious,
whenever you were talking about like stuff, it is hilarious. Whenever you're talking about like stuff being like systematic, that's where my mind went to. Like that's like big picture, like whole company. It's not just individual kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh gosh. Noc, tell us about some interesting hardware modifications.
Yeah, so I think this is actually kind of recent. It's like still trending on YouTube, but there's a YouTuber who does kind of like, I guess like tech DIY kind of stuff. I watched this guy a while ago. He made like a DIY 4K projector.
Okay.
Like, straight up from parts. And I thought it was incredibly cool. May not be, I think it was cost effective, but like it's kind of it's definitely a DIY solution. But this video that went kind of viral recently is one of the most impressive things I've seen people do with like DIY tech stuff. So everybody knows that the PS5 is massive. It is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because it has very specific cooling requirements, because the CPU on that thing, CPU, GPU, SoC thing gets pretty freaking hot. So this guy was talking about the fact that, you know, usually 3 to 5 years later, PlayStations will always come out with like a slim version.
Right.
And this guy, for whatever reason, didn't want to wait. So he modifies his PS5 to turn it into a PS5 Slim. And he gets the overall width of this thing to 1.9 centimeters, which for Americans is less than an inch.
Okay, every American knows 2.54 centimeters equals an inch. You need to do that to us, okay?
You had to Google that because you paused for way too long.
No, I didn't. I swear to God.
No, I heard.
I
nope,
actually
I heard the
believe
calculator
him.
come. Nope.
Bro, what do you mean?
The calculator come out here.
There was no fucking calculator.
No, I mean, it looks impressive. There are a few caveats, I guess, because to be able to do this, it has to be water cooled, because so much of the actual stuff that takes up the room in the PS5 is like heat sinks and fans. So if you want to remove all that shit, the only realistic thing you can do is water cool. And what essentially happened is, like, when you do water cooling, you need to have like a reservoir and radiator. That stuff is kind of placed conveniently outside of this PS5 Slim. So there is a very large, like, it actually looks pretty massive, this combination reservoir and fan radiator stuff. So what he did was he actually built a custom water block, a custom brass water block that covers the entire PS5 motherboard.
Oh.
And, like, you know, made the specific parts that go over the CPU, built all these like bridges for, you know, other chips and stuff that get a little bit hot on the PS5. But for the most part, it's the memory and the CPU that gets pretty hot on the PS5.
I feel like this isn't do it yourself. This is more like he did it himself. We need like a new category of like just crazy shit that people do that you're never going to do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like he did this thing. Nobody else is going to try this because this is ridiculous.
Right. I don't know about nobody else, but there's a very specific few
like
people who are able to do this.
Yeah.
My joke worked, Noc. Stop criticizing it. It was a beautiful joke.
Fair enough. Okay, fine.
I gathered the lulz in our non-existent chat. Mission accomplished.
Oh my God.
So one of the really funny things that happened was he bricks a PS5. Absolutely destroyed a PS5.
Nice.
Because this was like he turned it on, he started messing with it, and he didn't notice, but the way he had positioned the radiator and reservoir combination thing kind of looks like an all-in-one kind of thing. it fell over and he didn't notice it. And the air intake was like directly on the carpet on the floor. So I guess what was happening was
overheat.
Yeah, it overheated and he bricked one, but apparently he got his hands on another one. When you're a popular YouTuber, you can do this kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
And the other one was fine. But what I thought was hilarious was the actual temperatures and how much better the temperatures are from water cooling than compared to the stock PS5. The CPU itself, it went down from like 85 degrees to like 75 degrees, and that's not a big deal. But what was interesting is that stock on a PS5, the memory chips run at almost 100 degrees Celsius. That's enough to boil water.
What? 100 Celsius at stock?
Yeah. It was like 94 degrees or something. 100 degrees is where water boils in Celsius.
Yeah.
And usually that's a very dangerous place to run circuitry, because you risk essentially desoldering the chips from the motherboard essentially. But the temperature for this got down to like 50 degrees.
Oh,
dang!
I think same with the VRMs too. The VRMs weren't quite up to 100 degrees, but they got down to like 60 or something degrees. I can't remember. I should have written this down, but still.
Dang.
Yeah.
Do you think that companies will start water cooling their consoles?
I mean, it wouldn't help in terms of it wouldn't help in terms
like overall
of
performance.
It'll help in terms of performance. It wouldn't help in terms of form factor, because you still need to have that thing as part of it.
Oh, right.
It probably could get if you literally did try to make a water cooled PS5 that you could have like in an all-in-one package, you probably could get it smaller than the stock PS5. You probably could. Yeah. I don't know if it's an interesting thought, because like you can ship.
My two questions are: is it cost effective? Like, is it cheaper than the alternative?
Yeah.
And then, how rare is the resource of like water cooling? Because I have no idea what goes into a water cooling
really
system.
Not too rare. It's like not. I feel like the main thing that would kill it would be the maintenance, because you do have to like change out water, otherwise it gets gross.
Not exactly. There are specific. No? For most like hobbyist water coolers, like yes, that is true, but there are those all-in-one you can buy that are literally just like it's a pre-hooked up radiator and fans and tubing. It's pre-filled. Goes to a CPU water block, and you just get this thing as an all-in-one. And those things, you don't have to do anything with them. They stay fine, at least for quite a while. I mean,
that's
with things like consoles, you kind of do want to go for a shelf life of like 30 years. Shelf life, but like you want them to last quite a while. You don't want them to just brick after a while, because like there are PS1s that are still kicking. And I think maybe with AIOs, you wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know what the average life expectancy of your everyday AIO water cooler is, but it would be interesting.
I don't know.
I know Rachel's got one in her computer when we bought that pre-built thing. Kind of envious of that, actually.
The main thing that I was thinking of was performance, because chips are getting like a lot better and like faster, like all that stuff. And in the cooling department, we really haven't seen too much improvement. Like the PS5 has massive heat sinks and fans and stuff, but it like when you look at the PS2, like that thing heated up as well. But oh my gosh, hold on. I had my idea and then I lost it. No, oh shoot. With the way that the industry is moving, it seems that cooling is sort of being neglected as like a compromise of like more power kind of thing.
I want to say like, I feel like cooling was never quite an issue with like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. And then when you started getting like the Xbox 360 around that time, that's when like consoles started having issues with cooling. Like, wasn't the Red Ring of Death like a cooling issue?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But
Really? I didn't know that. If that's true.
No, I don't think Red Ring of Death was
Nah,
a cooling issue.
yeah.
I think it was just like a weird software bug.
Yeah. Now I'm curious.
Yeah. There was definitely Xboxes that overheated though because they didn't have proper circulation or anything or like whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like water cooled consoles aren't the furthest thing from what could be part of the industry tomorrow, I guess. I don't know.
That would be pretty interesting.
Okay, that was a really long tangent. Let's get back on this. Next thing, Bethesda. Bethesda is moving some of their older games onto Steam. This is because they're basically shutting down / starting to like kind of phase out their old launcher that they were using.
Bethesda had a launcher they were using?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. There's not a lot of games on there that you can't just buy on Steam. And so it's basically like, what's the point? You know, like it's kind of obsolete. It doesn't really matter. So they're kind of phasing it out. And that's why they're moving these games over. But the Elder Scrolls Arena, aka the first one, Elder Scrolls 2, Daggerfall, Elder Scrolls Adventures, Redguard, Elder Scrolls Legend, Battlespire, and Wolfenstein Enemy Territory are all heading over to Steam. And I do believe that Wolfenstein is free for a limited time. The Elder Scrolls Arena and Daggerfall are also free. I'm not sure if that's for a limited time or if that's for forever.
Probably not forever.
But if you've ever wanted to play those games, then go for it, I guess. Why not? Yeah. I just was like, whoa, that's kind of interesting. That they're phasing out their own launcher. And now you get a bunch of free Elder Scrolls games.
Can Ubisoft do the same thing?
To be fair, though, those...
That'd be nice.
Ubisoft, I don't think they'll do the same. No, I don't think they'll do the
I
same
just hate
thing.
having so many launches, like Origin as well.
I do too. Oh, Origin is god awful. Yeah. That's all for that. Next up, Cord, tell us the news that broke all of our hearts earlier this week.
Yes. Internet Explorer, the first free browser ever created by Microsoft, was officially put down for good on June 15th.
I'm sorry, but as a web developer, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, no, that thing sucked. It was a terrible browser, but it was loved by many.
Loved by many 15 years ago.
Yeah, definitely outdated. Well, I mean, shoot, that was where like a lot of people started on the internet, was using the freaking school computers with Internet Explorer and stuff.
I remember.
Yeah, no one used.
Sorry.
I can't remember all the percentages of like web browser usage today. Google, of course, had some sort of crazy amount, along with like Firefox and then Opera, and then there was an other, and the other was 3%, and that is where the Internet Explorer lied amongst the other.
Man, I remember being. I must have been around 2005, where I was like, my friend told me about this new browser he's using called Firefox. I was like, wow, you can use different browsers? Had no idea.
Oh my God.
God, that was literally like back then, like there was no other option. Or at least there was.
Yeah,
and there still is no other option.
There was other options, but they weren't as good, like at all. I feel like this is a case of you're sad to see him go, but you love to watch him leave, because God, that browser was so awful.
Man.
But good memories. Good memories. Next thing is Amazon. Okay, so I remember last week we talked about the Xbox Game Pass and how we were like, wow, this is like a really good deal. It seems almost too good to be true. What's the real cost? Theory? You know, that kind of thing. And apparently Amazon was like, yo, let me get in on that action. And they have been providing some more free games through Amazon Prime. Now, this is a thing that they've already been doing, but what made waves this week was that they are going to include Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is a legendary game, I guess. I don't know. I've never played it, but it's got a big standing online. So bleh. It's putting out a couple of indie games and also some Star Wars games. I can't remember exactly which ones, mainly because I didn't write them down, and also because the article that I read was very vague about which ones were going on. But in total, there is going to be 30 more games added, and these are completely for free if you have Prime. And I think that this is a telling, or wait, hold on. I think this is very telling of where the, I guess, video games industry is going in the future. It seems that subscription-based models for acquiring and playing games is going to be the new normal. So everybody, I guess, use what Truebill, figure out what subscriptions you are paying for and not paying for. We're not sponsored.
Yo, stop! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! No. We don't give away free sponsorship time.
Hey, I'm just trying to help the people
manage
their freaking subscriptions,
we
dude.
do not give.
Dude, okay.
We do not give away free sponsorship time. We've been over this,
dude. Have you? Okay, I'm just gonna. I've watched my bank account. And I've seen like a subscription charge, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell that was for, but I guess I just paid for it, and I could not be bothered because it's like $5 or something, and I cannot be bothered. So, if you want to get that under control, use that, which I will not say the name of again because apparently it makes Cord angry. But yeah, subscription-based models are apparently the way of the future. Anyways,
I'm not happy about that.
Speaking of subscription based. Oh, sorry.
Oh, man.
You're not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag that one on for longer.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I like that. The idea of not being able to own your games, be able to like.
Bro, no one's going against owning your games.
I'm sure you can
but
still
like, think about this. Like, we have so many different streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, etc. No one's stopping you from owning your movies or shows.
Yeah, true. Yep. It's the thing about it is that overarching, this is the entertainment industry, and that's just how things work. That's just the way things have been going. It's the way things have been going. It's probably going to continue in this trend. That's just how it is.
I think games are a little bit more unique because the games are so much more niched, and depending on what type of game you have, you will spend way more time with it than any given show or movie.
That's a good point.
I do agree, but I'm just pointing out the correlation of like entertainment.
Oh no,
it's been subscription based for a while. Like,
you're right.
Yeah,
but it's just slightly different because, like me, I'm almost not motivated at all to ever buy a subscription because I have enough multiplayer games. I buy the only subscription I really subscribe to at this point is paying $60 a year for COD. Other than that,
what on earth? Wait, oh, because a new game. Okay, sorry. I was like, why on earth are you paying $60 to COD every year? I thought you were talking about all for the same game, and then I realized brain blast. I see where you're coming from, Noc. I do, but at the same time, I feel like the industry and the market is just changing. And it's just moving in a different direction. You can still buy and keep and play your games as you wish, but the more, I guess, efficient and wise option would be to pay for the subscription thing and do that.
Guess so.
Sure, you don't own the game, but like if you really wanted to own the game, then you could pay the $60 and then you could actually own the game, but that's more expensive. So why on earth would you do that? Unless you really like the game, I guess.
Until the industry goes,
or you want to support the developers.
Until the industry goes in such a direction that actually buying games doesn't exist anymore. Same with streaming music and movies. Like I can envision a point in time where that actually happens. Like,
I hope it doesn't happen.
I don't think I'll ever go with games, because games are just a different breed of entertainment.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Especially as long as physical copies of games exist. Like cartridges and stuff.
I'm not 100%.
That doesn't stop to music in that sense.
I'm not 100% set on the idea that in 20 years we wouldn't see that happen with games or movies or any kind of streaming where there are physical, tangible versions of these forms of entertainment media.
I just think games are too expensive to make for them to be able to just be something that you can just stream on Spotify-esque.
Yeah.
Do you think that games are more expensive to make than movies?
Did I say movies, or I said music, right?
No, you said games.
Yes.
I said games and music.
Fair enough.
That was my comparison.
Music's another thing. Yeah, music's not entirely very expensive to make, but like comparing movies and games is a little bit different. I think games can be a bit more.
I feel like movies are more.
No, I think it depends on what game or what movie.
Depends. Yeah.
Because even like a free to play game, or like a game that gets constantly updated, those aren't just one development fee and done. No, you still have to pay developers to maintain servers and all that type of stuff.
True.
Oh yeah, interesting. I don't know. Also, Cord, you brought up the whole physical thing with music. Dude, I can plug a CD into any CD player and it'll work. I can't plug a PS2 disc into an Xbox 360 and then have it work. So exclusivity
I was more
of the media format.
Sure,
will keep games alive.
I was more saying in the sense of like there's still physical copies of music, and that doesn't stop it from going to streaming.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, shit, vinyl came back.
Yeah, vinyl came back.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's more because of demand. Like, there are people who want to have physical, tangible versions of these media, and that's a market sector that people aren't willing to not cater to, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's all interesting. Very, very interesting. Speaking of subscription-based services, Cord, tell us about Netflix.
Netflix, along with, as we talked about last week, confirming a second season of Squid Game. They've also announced that they're going to be releasing or making a Squid Game reality TV show where 456 people will compete in games to try and win the prize amount of $4.56 million, which is the highest payout of any game show ever.
Oh, the irony.
I was going to say, like,
oh, the irony.
I feel like I understand the premise of the show, and that just makes me laugh. The fact that they're going to do this.
Yeah, no, it's really...
It's absolutely hilarious.
I don't know if it's necessarily hypocritical. I mean, like, if the point of the show is to criticize that kind of action,
economy,
and then I guess do it themselves.
I don't think it wasn't. The show's criticism wasn't of game shows.
No.
It was more.
Yeah.
It was more of the wealth imbalance of the wealth inequality between poor and rich people.
Yep.
But it is ironic that out of this show, they just decide, oh, look, we're going to make an actual game show.
Unless the intention of this game show is to point out that sometimes life imitates art, I guess.
Dude, that would be something else for them to pull. Oh my God. If they actually do that, I will physically shit.
I know the saying is art imitates life, or life imitates art. I can't remember which way it usually is, but still, like, it would be hilarious if the whole point of this game show is to make to make a political / social commentary on, I guess, at least in the United States and most first world countries, no, not necessarily, the wealth inequality that we have.
I don't think so. There's no way. It's definitely just because Netflix is trying to take advantage of the Squid Games IP, because the biggest thing since Stranger Things that they've produced.
I will actually lay an egg if they take it in that direction. I will have a baby. I'll have a chicken. I'll make a little moosey chicken.
Sorry, I'm just kind of Googling.
If that's actually where they go.
CEO of Netflix net worth. Let's see, how much money does this guy have? $6 billion.
Bruh. Yeah. I feel like it would be, what if they did it hyper realistic and like the process to get on is like you have to enter what your wage is, like your yearly wage.
Oh my God.
or not yearly income, and if it's like above or below, they like pick you or they don't pick you. Like they get like really just like, or if you have debt, then you get put in.
That's horrible.
Oh my God.
If they did,
that would be awful.
If they did, if you have debt or something, if they literally do it wage based, then that will be literally the point of the whole show. Of rich people taking advantage of poor people.
The application for this freaking show has to get you to link with Credit Karma.
Yeah.
If they do that, then that is literally the most ironic thing they could have done.
Oh my God. That would be crazy. Wow. I almost hope they do it. I want to see if they have the balls. Do they have the balls to do that?
I guess another layer of the irony is how fucking massive and how valuable the company Netflix is.
It'd be interesting to see where the winner goes in life.
Is he going to get his hair dyed? I think he's going to get his hair dyed.
Do you think they'll? Do you think they'll follow in the footsteps of the show
to break down the show?
God.
Yeah, because they win, they believe that they have been chosen by some sort of shadow government to carry out the actions of the main character of the show.
What?
And so that's now their new belief.
What are you
it's like their
on
new
about?
religion that they have to do. I don't know.
You lost me.
Thinking out loud.
You lost me there. You lost me in the sauce.
Myself.
You lost me in the sauce, man.
I lost myself. That was ridiculous.
I wonder if anybody's going to die in this. Like, for real.
Dude.
Netflix has said they will already be shooting people with their very expensive cameras. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're going to be shooting rubber bullets like in the fucking 2020 Black Lives Matters things.
Right.
It'll do the same amount of damage. Okay, never mind. That might be a little bit too spicy of a joke for me to try and make.
Nobody ever died during the filming of all seasons of Survivor, though somebody did get pretty messed up.
Really?
There was that one time that some dude fell into a campfire and like burnt the shit out of themselves. Had to get it.
Bro, how do you fall into a campfire, bro? Damn,
they probably tripped.
I think
somebody left a banana on the ground.
I know it was like the smoke made him pass out, so he fell in.
Damn,
okay, I feel, you know, not knowing the story, and if I'm completely wrong, I'm sorry, but I feel like you have to be a certain type of stupid to fall into a campfire and just like not get out of it instantly and sustain like really massive burns.
Supposedly he passed
You're just
out.
like hotboxing your lungs with all that carbon and like, you know, the monoxide stuff.
I don't know.
I feel like it would. Okay. No, actually, I shouldn't say that. That's stupid.
All right.
I was about. No, I'm gonna say
it's never stopped you before.
I was say, if you've ever like stood behind a car and smelt the exhaust, and then been like, oh, I'm lightheaded. Like it's kind of that. It's kind of that.
I could see
and
that.
Then I was like, oh no. And then I was like, oh no, people are gonna think I stand behind cars and huff the carbon monoxide.
I gotta say that shit used to be a lot worse in the 90s. They didn't make cars They make cars a little bit more efficient and nicer for the environment nowadays.
Yeah. Go green. All right. Well, I feel like this is a good point to end off the podcast. Very chill vibes, this one. Cord. Shout out your socials, please. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at cord_gamer at Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon. I'm forgetting something. And not OnlyFans.
Noc, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/NOCV. Spotify, NOC.V. Got a new song coming out this weekend on Saturday.
Let's go.
How about you, Cord?
You can find me
Cord?
at cord_gamer on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Reddit. That was the one I forgot. Patreon and not OnlyFans. Muzi, how about you?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Musio_, MUZI0H_. And you can also find me on Twitter at It's Musio with the same spelling. Y'all, this has been a good one. We will see you all in next week's episode.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.